Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Drew with Let's Talk Something, and today I want to talk about what's going on in Guyana with the outbreak. Now, it's not as widespread as it is here in the States, but I just want to give do stories on on Guyana. I don't know if you listen, if any of you have watched any of my videos, but if you do, you would know that's where I was born. That's where I was raised for 11 years. So regardless, I still love that place. I still love that country. And even though I haven't been there in a very, 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 very long time, I actually lived most of my life here. And I still remember the place. I still remember the place as it was when I left. But I've heard that it's changed so much, and soon I want to actually visit. Um, don't know when that will be. Hopefully, very very soon. Now, I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read an article here. Um, that's from the Starbuck News, and from a newspaper, I believe, in Grenada. I can't remember the name because I just wrote everything down. Guyana confirms 4 cases of the outbreak. The Minister of Public Health confirmed the Minister of Public Health confirmed 3 positive cases of the outbreak, bringing the total number to date to 4. The 3 patients who tested positive have been identified as the husband of the 52-year-old woman who went to Guyana from New York on March 5th and later died on Wednesday, March 11th, becoming the country's first case. Her son and another person also tested positive for the outbreak. Other family members and more than a dozen others who came into contact with her were advised to self quarantine. Now you see how quickly this can spread. And that's what happens Guyana, when you don't take precaution, but Guyana did take precaution when they heard about this, but they couldn't just shut down things instantly. And she eventually got in and was able to now spread it. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I don't think I did. I never did a story. This is the first story I believe I'm doing on Guyana. But she, as they're calling it over there, imported case of this outbreak. Um, they didn't actually find out about her even possibly even having it until after her death, when they were told that she came from America. And she actually went there right before the first case of outbreak happened here in the States. Happened here, not here in the States, here in New York. And because she left from here in New York. So before the first case even came out, she had already left. So they don't know how she even contracted it. So if you look at one of my previous video that I put up before this one, I do mention that city officials are saying that we should all have that mindset that we have already came in contact with this deadly outbreak. Now I'm gonna continue. There's another article. This one is from Starbuck News. BPATs. BPATs. I've never heard of that company before, but again, like I said, I haven't been to my country in a long time. But BPATs, the authorized distributor for the Lysol brand of sanitizing products on Regent Street, has limited the sale of products to 2 per person, while maintaining the same prices it has always sold for. This decision is to ensure that as many people as possible are able to make purchases in the light of recent panic buying and price gouging for cleaning and sanitizing products in the wake of the outbreak. Now, we've been seeing this and hearing about this here in New York. I can't speak to other states. I haven't really been paying a lot of attention to the other states, but only I've been paying a lot of attention to what's going on here in New York. And I've a couple of times on different news channels, they have mentioned of price gouging, and that I believe the governor or the mayor has said that there will be hefty fines for stores and that are doing that are price gouging, and it's crazy how some of these people will price gouge when they're making more money than they ever did because of this outbreak. There's a lot of restaurants and stuff here in the States, and that is going through the same thing where there's no customers, and the ones that are deciding that they're gonna make, the stores that are making the money want to price gouge, which is ridiculous because you're already making sales that you've never made before. I've never went to the supermarket before this outbreak happened and seen empty shelves. I've never seen that before. Maybe a couple items missing, but not complete empty shelves. Like one bottle of water left on a shelf. Never seen that before, and that's stuff that's currently happening. And while the bodegas and stores and some restaurants that are doing deliveries or getting a boom, those high end restaurants, or even not even the high end ones, but the ones in Manhattan that have the large seatings are not getting are not getting business. There's not a lot of customers, or none at all. I'm seeing reports of Chinatown and certain parts of Manhattan, Times Square and stuff being ghost towns, and and in Guyana, people are already starting to panic, and even with just 4 cases confirmed, but there might be more. And as I said before, in one of my previous videos, I hope Dr. Oz is right, even though I believe sometimes he's full of shit because he's speaking like he knows it all and like he's an expert and like he know these things for a fact that it wouldn't spread as fast in high heat, but he's basing this on the other forms of similar to other forms that are similar to this outbreak, how they don't travel as well in heat, in high heat. So they're assuming by spring type weather that this will actually die down, and but in communities that is already widespread, expected to spread more. But communities that don't have large amount of cases, that should stay low and not increase if people continue to practice social distance, which I think they should do. But sometimes you can't do that. Like sometimes you just can't stay away from your family. Sometimes you live in a home with lots of your family members, and you don't have that choice. You don't have that choice. Like the people in the shelters, homeless people in shelters here in the States. Sometimes these shelters are crowded and full. Now I've never been to a shelter, but that's what I've heard from friends that were in a shelter. Even my friend that passed away in one of them, he said, he spoke about the conditions in these shelters in the one that he was in, and I've heard that from a lot of other people. And there's a lot of homeless people that say they don't want to go to these shelters because of the conditions. So getting them off the streets into shelters so they don't contract this outbreak is going to be tough, especially since a lot of them fear being robbed and killed in these shelters. But I drifted off a little bit. This hopefully, as I said, I hope this thing doesn't get worse in Guyana. I hope Dr. Oz is right about the spreading of this, but again, they really don't know because this is a new outbreak. That's all. As I get any updates of what's going on in Guyana, I will be posting it right on this channel, or be making a video about it. This is Drew with Let's Talk Something. See you guys in the next video.